What is up, everybody? Superverse here today. So this, I seen a clip, apparently from a podcast of also a Sony podcast, where the Sony fanboys are super salty. Sony was not at E3, so this is kind of like a cope mechanism for Sony not being at E3. They don't question Sony and say why Sony, why weren't you at E3? Why didn't you show off games like Microsoft and Nintendo did? Why wasn't the big three all there? Why was it just two out of the three? Why was Sony not there? So they don't say that. They just say, hey, we agree with Sony's decision not being at E3. Sony don't need to be at E3. Now, E3 is considered to be, I have heard it be called the Super Bowl of video games. It's like a big holiday for video games, like not official but official holiday for video games. That's the magnitude that people put E3 at. But to see Sony guys say, hey, Sony E3 don't need to exist anymore is just pretty ridiculous. So like the post says, this is a salty taste that's going around. I love both consoles, but I can't stand the hypocrisy of fanboys. So we're gonna play the clip. We're gonna play the clip. So.
I don't think E3 needs to exist or exist in the way that it's currently existing. Is that what we need games to be shown when they're ready to be shown. If you look back a few weeks ago, I haven't even compared the metrics now because just haven't bothered the last couple days. But if you look at how many people viewed the Horizon state of play versus the press conference at E3, I would be shocked if any of them beat Horizon. Like I'm gonna assume that Horizon is like the number one viewed, right? And the thing is, like, Sony, this is what Sony's doing. When they first walked away from E3, I was like, what are they doing there? This is nuts. But now I totally agree with it because they, like, whenever they're ready, man, like, let's give Cory Barlog as much time as he needs, and then he can announce, he can show us gameplay, knock us off our feet, like, jaws on the floor with a 15-minute state of play. We don't need to cram this into like a 1 week event in E3.
I laugh at that. So they want E3 to be gone completely now just because Sony left E3. This is ridiculous. Like, what the? They were just nodding, and the other two were just nodding in agreement. Like, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree. E3 just needs to go now. This is crazy. This is some crazy stuff now, man. It's like Sony should have been at E3. I guess they don't got nothing else to show at this point. I don't know what's going on with Sony, but this is not a good look for a big major company not being at E3 like this. A lot of those other companies like Gearbox, they probably could have took. They probably couldn't. They probably shouldn't have been there. But Sony definitely should have been at E3. It's like, why have these state of plays? I don't like when everything is spread out like this. That's the reason why this E3 was kind of a mess because all the other third party companies, because of the whole pandemic, they messed a lot of stuff up. I think that's probably what it is because a lot of these announcements like spread out throughout the year. That's not kind of like when it is a 1 year E3 because it makes it more exciting. When it's like all spread out like this, it just makes it a train wreck. I don't like it. Let's read some of these comments. Because people was like, definitely have some reactions to this little clip right here from this podcast. So he says a laughing emoji. So what is he comparing? Oh, the Starfield has 7.1 million views compared to Horizon 6.5 million views. So in 6 days, this has more views than this has in 3 weeks. So okay. I was like, why would he make statements without looking it up first? He has a phone. Well, that's hilarious because the Starfield trailer already has the Horizon State of Play beat, and that wasn't even any gameplay shown. Exactly, this wasn't even gameplay. This was a teaser trailer. When they actually showed like the gameplay, what the game was actually doing, the views gonna be crazy. It was like, link to the podcast. I want to laugh at this horror show, and this is the podcast as well. If you want to watch it yourself. One of these guys is a big cloud gamer, and I was under the impression that he was less delusional than other PlayStation podcasters. Guess not. Shaking my head. I honestly thought you were talking about Mr. Bad Bit. I don't know these people. Like, they release a console when it's good, ready, right? Enough said. Yeah, that's another thing too. He said Sony needs to release games when they're ready. They released the PS5 when they're ready. You still can't use an SSD slot on your PS5 yet. So it's like, what are you talking about? Release stuff when they're ready. Obviously they don't release stuff when it's ready. And it's like, oof. So they got the character from Simpsons rolling down the hill. Allow them to dream. Some cannot separate truth from fanboyism. I always say remove feelings and apply logic and the picture becomes clearer. This is why they can't see straight. Pain brings tears, red pill. This dude's like he wrote like a little poem right here. Okay. The Starfield reveal has more views than Horizon. Does anyone want to tell these idiots that and song invented shoring showing trailers for like 35 years before gameplay, but they don't want to talk about that either. They keep trying to make reasons why PlayStation stepped out of E3. The only reason Sony didn't want to support it anymore is because they wanted to save that money. The only reason Sony is doing all of this is because they could save money. Yeah, and really don't blame them. It's because it costs a lot, but we don't get to see our. Yeah, I don't like them not being at E3 either. I don't care if it is to save money. It's like, yo, it's like E3 is a tradition. Like, I don't care if it's to save money. It's like, why? Instead of doing all these stupid state of play events, just save all your information for E3 like everybody else does. It's like, I don't understand it. Like, it's just to save money. Pretty sure they're spending money to do all these other different state of play events, but they say use that money for E3. So back to this comment right here. He says, yeah, I really don't blame them. It costs a lot, but we don't get to see or hear from them for months at a time. It would be nice if they had something on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook to get some info and to get stories correct, but they like how their base will make up stories. Seems like they would be angry that Sony don't seem to do anything to celebrate their fans anymore. I guess they're sick of the obvious hypocrisy as well. It's gotten ridiculous. Believe me, I want to see anything new Sony has, but these dudes was walking about past E3s when God of War was announced, and how those E3s was better than the last three. The dude on the left was the most pissed off cringe dude of them all. Big Cloud is who he is, not mad at him, but it's his boys. Okay. I refer to the last year we had as the year of silence, where no E3 meant everybody gets to keep their project secret. It felt like literally nothing was coming out or even being worked on. I remember they had a good enough show then, but this year's show they held back. But if it's Sony, they are holding back something big. We know that they are. Don't get why they give Sony a blank check to not come to E3. The reason is simple: they have nothing to show outside of Horizon and the God of War title. Probably. At least nothing. That's close enough to show. They constantly push games back. If it's not a mistake, Ghost of Tsushima was pushed back twice, which is fine, but they really like to show things early. They're upset at God of War 2. They're upset at God of War 2, right? Because they only showed a logo, not a trailer, teaser, or anything in engine. They at least show us gameplay or something about God of War 2. They should have at least been there. It's like, this is getting ridiculous. Why does he sound like he's about to cry? It's just sad. Downplay E3 because Sony wasn't there. I would have liked Sony to be at E3 because they would have gotten news on upcoming PS5 games already other than waiting. Whenever Sony chooses to show something, for all we know, it could be months till we hear from Sony, and then what? E3 is good for us. It's our month as a gamers to celebrate. I think Sony should go back and support that again. And if Sony was at E3 2021, then the narrative would have been how Sony saved the entire industry to include this year's show. Amazing how these guys continue to show for their brand. Just this. This is like Donald Trump with a PlayStation hat. Okay. Of course, a 15 focus vid is going to have more views in an hour and a half conference. The same as it's not surprising how the Starfield vid has as many views as it does. Yeah, it makes sense too. It's just like a 15-minute video. People gonna watch a 15-minute video before they watch like an hour and a half long conference. Triggered. The amount of effort they put into hating is amazing. I feed off of it. It's always the same archetype. That West Coast girly man. PlayStation show with PlayStation fanboys for PlayStation fanboys. This is a dude comforting a little pony. This is pretty funny right here. Oh my god, this is kind of funny. Everybody tuned in to see what Sony's showing off, yet Sony not being at E3. Why would ponies want to tune in? Laughing emoji. This guy's just cracking up. Who are these people? They are salty AF. Let's see. I love the God of War 2 reveal and gameplay. Love how they took the time to show actual gameplay like these guys at E3. These ponies is stupid and nothing they say makes sense. Dusty ass ponies imploding everywhere. They can't stomach seeing others happy. Yeah. Let's see what the quote tweets said. It's talk like this that allows companies to treat you any way they want. No shade, but Sony not being at E3 will continue to be a slap in the face for that fan base. Respect your consumer. Hashtag E3 2021. Nah, Sony is too elite for E3. They are too elite for a long celebrated tradition of gaming announcements and reveals together. They are too good for us. And Horizon has more views than any other E3 announcement. Wait. That got corrected real quick. And that gameplay against so-called CGI. And that's gameplay against so-called CGI. Okay. Like they released the console when it was good and ready, right? Enough said. Okay. Exactly what they should be doing is calling out Sony PlayStation use that anger towards them. E3 has nothing to do with Sony not showing up for the fan base. Dudes just sound hurt, and it's pathetic how they defeat Sony's BS. Sony slapped them in the face and blame E3. What the F? Slap in the face at not being at E3. It was great having them there too. People meeting up at E3, etc. Great times for gamers. But some people seem to bend over and accept whatever Sony does. Let's talk show when ready. Sony 2015 showed Horizon, No Man's Sky, Last Guardian, Shenmue 3, and Final Fantasy Remake when all these games had no release date, and that's fine. Why wouldn't Horizon get a bunch of views? What else do they have to watch? Okay. Ponies will say they are doing it at their own pace, and all that matters are Sony's first party. When the consumer is respected and not used as an ATM, everyone wins. Starfield got more views than Horizon Forbidden West, so that's an actual adult man who is old enough to have grandchildren talking like a child. What is wrong with these people? Who is that guy? He sounds like he's really going to cry. I was like, go to a comment and say, dude, sounds like he's about to cry. That's pretty funny. It's a shame the rapper fan base would accept anything Sony does. From E3 thing to $70. Oh yeah, the $70 thing. It is crazy how people are just blindly just saying, "Hey, I would pay you $70. Sony, you get an extra $10 just because you're Sony." It is just ridiculous how people are just shilling for that price tag. It's like people are just willing. They are openly just willing. They are. It's not a point where you just like accept it. It's like when you just go out your way just to pay $70. It's just ridiculous. People, they was gonna pay $70 for Destruction All Stars if they didn't get the whole flack and it went down to $20. They was about to drop 70 for Destruction All Stars at one point. So they not only swallowed, they all defended too. Keep saying it, but this is why Sony always so quiet. Guys like this do this all damn do what guys like this do all the damage controlling for them. Yeah, it is just weird. Especially the $7 price point thing. That's just weird territory right there. Old Sony was personally and wanted to connect with fans. New Sony don't want to know you, they just want your money. That's a funny comment right there. Let's see. I think I'll conclude this video right here. Yeah, I'm gonna conclude the video right here. It is just pretty wild how these guys don't criticize Sony. They don't say anything Sony does is wrong. Nothing Sony does is wrong. They just go with it. Because Sony wants to leave E3. E3 just no longer needs to exist to these guys. It's just wild. It's just crazy. Definitely want to see your thoughts about this down below. Leave a like if you like this video. And as always, thanks for watching and peace.